all who have registered once it is up and ready for viewing. Okay, let's get started. I am Fran Bowman, the project coordinator for the 6-12 education portion of the Northeast Center, and I have the privilege of working with these and hundreds of other innovative programs around the country. It is really wonderful to be able to share with all of you the programs that you will hear about today. Today we have 6 presenters who have years of experience working in education and in the transportation industry. And I would like to briefly introduce these speakers to you. I'd first like to introduce our co-sponsor, Andrea Zimmerman, who is the State Policy Associate at the National Association of State Directors for Career and Technical Education. She's responsible for tracking major state legislative and regulatory actions affecting CTE. Before coming to the association, Andrea worked with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Career and Technical and Adult Education, and she also served 3 years as a Peace Corps volunteer in the Ukraine. Secondly, I'd like to introduce Kathy DePiro. Kathy is with the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center. She is the Logistics Materials Management Program Instructor. Kathy has been teaching at the center for 22 years, and in addition to her teaching role, she has also been a student organization advisor and cooperative education coordinator. She also serves on the Materials Handling Institute Advisory Board. Kathy's business partner is Katie Nierbach, and she is a Senior Operations Manager for First Book International. Katie manages the First Book partnerships with all the CTE programs around the country, and currently there are 15 sites with 630 students working in the program nationwide. They move over 3 million units of product for First Book annually. Next, I would like to introduce Janine Galena, who is the Career Program Coordinator at the WEMICO Career and Technology Center at Monroe II Orleans BOCES in Spencerport, New York. Janine works in a school where they're a very large district with 19 different career areas. Students come to the center for half the school day, and they remain at the home high school for the other half. Today, Janine's going to be talking about the AASHTO Track program, which they use for 9th and 10th grade students in their Career and Technology Education program. I'd also like to introduce Shirley McCall, who is the director of the Trans-STEM Academy at Francis Cordoza Education Campus in Washington, D.C. Shirley has been an educator with the District of Columbia since 1974, and she has taught in a variety of areas, including mathematics and computer science and others. She's presently the director of the Transportation STEM Academy, and Shirley has been involved with our DOT projects for a number of years. Shirley's business partner, Nell Du, is program manager for over 22 years with the federal government. She's worked in a variety of assignments with the Department of Defense, Defense Information System agencies, and she is currently in the Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and Air Traffic. I have to also say that Nell Du is a very strong advocate for developing high school students, especially girls, in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics concentrations. And with these introductions completed, I would like to turn it over to our first speaker today, Andrea Zimmerman.
Thanks so much, Fran, and thank you for the opportunity to co-sponsor this webinar series. The National Association of State Directors for CTE was established in 1920 to represent the state and territory heads of secondary, post-secondary, and adult CTE across the country. And these are the leaders that are responsible for administering the federal Perkins CTE grant. Many of you actually on this webinar might be more familiar with our organization through the National Career Clusters framework, and specifically relevant for today the Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics Career Cluster and its related career pathways. As an association, we support an innovative, high-quality CTE system, and it's through leadership, advocacy, and partnership that we will look to do this. And one great example of this was the Future of CTE Summit. I want to make sure this will. Can someone advance the slide for me? It doesn't seem to be doing it. Thank you. It's the Future of CTE Summit that we held just last month, and the idea was to bring together a wide swath of education, workforce, and employer advocates to really challenge the current beliefs and assumptions of what CTE is and really what it can be. And you can see just by the logos here on this screen that what we brought together 9 co-convening organizations that really did represent that whole continuum, and also, representing lawmakers with the state governments and a workforce, business side of things, and part of the. Can you advance the slide for me again? Thank you. Part of the idea behind this was to build and affirm consensus and commitment toward a common vision for high-quality CTE, but not just to stop with a vision. We also look to prioritize action steps to achieve this vision and catalyze investments that would then help us reach these ambitious goals. And then finally, to bring visibility to CTE, high-quality CTE, and as well as our internal commitment to quality. And a great example of this internal commitment to quality that I mentioned is our Excellence in Action Awards. And I wanted to take a moment just to highlight this because I believe that many of the folks here today on the call, both our presenters but as well as the participants and attendees, are leading high-quality examples of programs of study within CTE. And our 3rd annual awards program, the Excellence in Action Awards, was started to recognize high-quality and high-impact CTE programs of study from across all 16 career clusters, including the Transportation Career Cluster. And we just opened this year's competition. We're receiving applications through December 9th. You can learn more about this program on our website, careertech.org. The URL is listed there. And we also just this week had a webinar where you can listen to retroactively about how to apply and also hear from past winners. And I wanted to take just one moment to highlight one of our 2015 winners, which was from the Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics Career Cluster. And this was the Omaha Bryan High School in Omaha, Nebraska. And it's a 4-year program of study delivered through a career academy that integrates CTE instruction with academic content. And in Nebraska, the Transportation Career Cluster is one of the fastest growing in the state. So through this program of study, students have the opportunity to earn 3 certificates, and if they choose to go on to post-secondary, they can, while still in high school, earn up to 13.5 college credits through their local community college in the distribution and logistics pathway. And the program also has really strong relationships with our employer community, including the Nebraska Trucking Association and First Book, which is a Washington, D.C.-based book bank, which we'll actually hear a little bit more about later in this presentation. So again, if you'd like to apply, please visit careertech.org. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to contact me. My email's there, and we'd be happy to help you with any questions that you might have. Fran, with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrea. And as we said earlier, if you have questions or comments, something you want clarified, feel free to use the chat box to write your questions. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy DePiero with the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center.
My students consistently exceed expectations with advanced scores on their NOCTI 6071 end of program assessment due to the curriculum and equipment acquired from the partners that I'll present as my best practices. The picture on this slide is the front of our building located in the heart of the city. There are many space constraints, so part of my presentation will demonstrate that much can be accomplished with a very small program space. Next slide, please. Can somebody advance the slide, please? It doesn't seem like it. Thank you. My students are shown standing in front of our new pallet racking donated by one of my local business partners. With a budget that supports only very small equipment purchases, I rely heavily on help from my logistics friends. My roster this year is of average size, and the capacity for my program, the 3-year program totals 1,450 hours on a half-day schedule, and there is a full-day, 1-year option for intergenerational students. Instruction is presented in 3 levels, even though I could have up to 4 grade levels plus adults in the same classroom. I'm co-op certified and a big advocate for workplace experiences for all my seniors in good standing. I'm really excited about a brand new CDL program starting soon. This will provide an opportunity for my graduates to expand their employment options. We have 100% membership for the student organization DECA, which teaches professionalism and soft skills. I've been an advisor for 22 years and have witnessed a huge impact in many young adults' futures as a result of their participation. Next slide, please. Our live warehouse functions are executed in only 5,500 square feet. There is also a raised dock area with 2 bays. The students work in production teams modeled after a local distribution center staffing practices. A designated student acts as a supervisor, and each team has a student in a lead position as preparation for management position. We support the school's operations by receiving and processing all materials that enter the building on a daily basis. Over a year's time, the students process over 1,600 just-in-time purchase orders representing hundreds of thousands of items. I have 5 types of electric lift trucks that the students learn to operate. One of my key assets is the live work in support of our partnership with First Book, the National Book Bank, and I have invited Katie Niersbach from that social enterprise to help explain the win-win relationship. I've listed our procedures on this slide for you to review to save some time, but I will relate that First Book has become the centerpiece for my program, and make no mistake, we work very hard, but the skill sets and takeaways are priceless. Next slide, please. The future of TDL is very bright in our region due to the completion of the I-99 interstate system. The largest employer in my area remains the railroad, which is currently paying up to $30 per hour for logistics workers. I listed the Basics Committee from the local Chamber of Commerce because I piloted an initiative for the past 2 summers called Next Generation Workforce Mentorship Program, which was very successful and included many of my students. Next slide. I consider my business partners as key components of my program and have included information for 2 of the members. I'll bring to your attention the list of automated equipment in the value facility on the left of the slide. Because of my other key asset, MHI, several students and I were able to observe the project manager as he negotiated the purchase of that equipment at the MHI International Trade Shows in Chicago and Atlanta. We were there as participants in the TCEP Classroom Day sponsored by MHI. Next slide, please. MHI, their byline, the industry that makes supply chains work, is really has been ground zero for the new and vastly improved program here at the GACTC. My instruction is based on their text. I listed them at the top of the page. There's 4 fundamental volumes that cover the following subject matter: The first one is a great starter, movement, storage, control, and protection. The second, more specific functions such as receiving or address. The third is performance matrix. And then the fourth are the soft skills needed for a successful transition from school to work. I listed the National Safety Council training manuals for the equipment operation, and the others are resources to fulfill curriculum requirements as designed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. I've listed the contact information for the director of TCEP, Angela Jenkins, at the bottom of that slide. Every logistics-related class in our state follows the same program of study. I've listed the units included. The complete framework can be found on the PDE website under Career and Tech Education, and we are in the Phase 3 group. The last three items on that list, marketing, economics, and management, are components to fulfill requirements to articulate the program with post-secondary institutions that will grant college credits for students earning the skill certificate pictured here. By the way, that's signed by the governor. Last slide, please. And in conclusion, I would identify my best practices as the adoption of the MHI curriculum materials and my participation in their Train the Trainer and Classroom Day events, our partnership with First Book, and my reliance on active local business members of my advisory committee. There is my contact information. I'm always willing to share and happy to speak to anybody who would like to ask questions about my program.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. And we will move to Kathy's business partner, Kathy Niersbach.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Niersbach, and I am representing First Book. Kathy was extremely kind in how positively she spoke about our partnership, so I'm excited to be here and speaking with all of you. So, let's see here. So First Book, we get new books to children in need. We've got a network of now over about 250,000 programs that register with us. Basically, if you serve a population that is 70% or more in need based on Title I schools, federal free lunch programs, or other local demographics, you can access our resources. And we have some innovative systems. And the First Book National Book Bank specifically works with donated books. First Book also sources books directly from publishers. We pre-purchase them and then offer them to our programs at a discount. And because we pre-purchase them, we're able to offer them at a reduced rate. And all of that inventory goes through our marketplace website. The book bank is strictly about donations. So we get donated books from publishers, and a lot. Last year we had about 8 million donated to us, all in full cartons for the most part. And it's our job at the book bank to distribute those books. So specifically, a bit closer look at the book bank. We started in 1999, and the key piece here is I'm calling you from an office in Washington, D.C. We don't have warehouse space. So we're getting all these books donated to us, but we had to find a way to distribute them. And originally we were doing that by sending our staff members to a warehouse that had 400,000 books dropped into a week before and processing them back out. While that's a lot of fun, it wasn't very strategic in our time and our resources. So we found a way to partner with CTE programs to help do our distribution with us. This slide is just a little interim slide to kind of show some of the fun books that we distribute. All ages 0 to 18. We dabble a little bit in books for adult audiences because some of our programs do serve parents as well as children, but primarily it's ages 0 to 18. Okay, so what am I doing here on this phone call? Why do we partner with CTE programs? As I mentioned before, CTE programs have the capacity through their distribution centers to receive in and hold our inventory, which is huge. That's key. Additionally, they can inventory it in for us, letting us know what has arrived, as opposed to the past where we would show up at a warehouse and just hope that the donation list matched what had been received. The CTE programs also help with order fulfillment. they process back out all the donations they receive in. And there's a positive community impact as well. All programs that partner with First Book can keep 5% of the inventory they receive in off of the top. The only requirement is that they distribute those books to programs in their community that fit our profile of being a program in need. We have a responsibility to the publishers to ensure that these books are not being sold or used for other insincere purposes, so they need to be going to children in need. So basically, it's a really awesome feel-good program, as Kathy had alluded to, the win-win partnership. So the win-win piece, what's in it for our programs? It's real-life hands-on inventory, or real-life hands-on experience for our students. We're providing them with the inventory, but we're also providing them with customers. They know that they have to get this shipment fulfilled by this particular deadline, otherwise children in Texas will not be receiving their books, and that's that. So there's that real-life component to it. We're able to provide order fulfillment opportunities throughout the year. Many of our programs are schools that work on a school year calendar. Altoona is one of 3 that does remain open over the summer through a special internship program we've set up. So we're happy to keep programs busy if they want to be busy. They also get various skill sets to practice, everything from soft skills, learning how to work in a setting on a team, as well as the more specific things such as working with inventory management systems. The sites get a percentage of the books, as I've mentioned before. We also provide materials. We're not going to expect you to shrink wrap the pallets and use your own money to buy that shrink wrap. So we'll give you what you need in order to process out the inventory. There's tax deduction components as well as media exposure. We had a program in Lehigh, Eastern Pennsylvania, that was presenting at their school board meeting about the books that they had funneled back into their school community and their district, and the media was there covering a different event at that board meeting, and they got some positive attention for that, which was pretty fun. Altoona's been with us for 6 years now, and they've moved over 2.5 million books for First Book, so the impact has been amazing. As I mentioned before, Altoona does summer processing for us, which is huge, enabling us to serve more of our programs throughout the year. And basically, programs such as Altoona have made it possible for the First Book National Book Bank to completely change our model, in that we are going to be launching a whole new website this January that we're calling Evergreen, because it makes inventory available on an ongoing basis. Typically, we had worked through an application process where programs would apply once we put up any inventory that is available, and that opportunity would happen about once a month. And then we allocate the books, we'd send each site their appropriate ship files, and they would process the inventory. With the ability now to hold so much of our inventory, about 1 million books at a time in these sites, we're able to function more of a storefront system, which also will hopefully be beneficial and a positive for all of our partner CTE programs, because instead of shipping maybe once every 4 or 5 weeks, they'll have the opportunity to fulfill shipments on a much more regular basis. So that's an exciting development that we wouldn't have been able to do a few years ago. Overall, we've got 15 CTE sites. They range in capacity from 15 to 200 pallets, so we take all different sizes. First Book is eager to work with programs and kind of adjust and see what makes the most sense for sites. I heard Kathy mention a CDL program, so I'm quite excited now, because we're also looking to branch into working with CDL sites that could move our inventory for us. It's an opportunity for them to practice delivering shipments between sites, whether it's within a state or across state lines. So we're looking for those partners as well. And as I think has been briefly mentioned, we use UPS WorldShip software for all of our shipment fulfillment. The sites that process with us are set up with a UPS WorldShip software, their own computer to run that software on, and then they also get their label printers. So it becomes a matter of us emailing the ship file over, and then the educators can decide how they want to engage their students in that software manipulation, but there's an opportunity there for that component as well. This is just a snapshot of the way that we share our inventory. Since we are working with 15 different programs that have all different levels of technology at their sites, we've settled on using Google Docs as a way to aggregate all of the inventory. Programs that we sign up work closely with us. I go through a training on how to access this Google Doc and then share the inventory and the information back and forth. Here's a little map showing where we're located. We have a strong presence, as you can see, in Pennsylvania, and Georgia and South Carolina have also cropped up recently. Omaha is standalone out there in the middle of the country. We're looking to get more programs as well. Eventually, we're trying to move towards a model where we have more strategically placed locations. So as publishers give us smaller donations that maybe in the past it didn't make sense for us to receive in 20 boxes here, 30 boxes there, these programs now make it possible, and the closer we can get to their DCs, the more likely they are to donate because it's a reduced shipping cost for them to get that donation to us. And then, as I had mentioned before, we are actively looking for new programs. So if you have a program that's in existence now, or if you're looking to set one up, I would love to speak with you. So here's my contact information, and please do reach out. Thanks
okay, thank you, Katie. I have a question has been posed, and either Katie or Kathy, two Ks, could respond to this. What advice would you give to someone who wanted to start a program of this nature?
I'll defer to Kathy on that one.
Okay.
Okay. You know, whenever the idea was presented, I took it to my director, and after I described it, you know, he and I both said, you know, there seems like there's no downside. There is the delivery is by tractor and trailer, so a dedicated raised dock is necessary. You could do it with manual equipment. I would start out small until you get the flow. They continue to make the process more sophisticated and more a real life setting for the students. When we started out, it was just it was Excel spreadsheets, and you know that they continue to really make it a real learning environment. So my advice would be, you know, jump in with all feet. You know, start out small with maybe, you know, a couple of pallets, and you know, make sure that your member schools, if you're part of a building like mine where sending schools come in, our relationship with the program has really you know, made us known throughout the school districts with administrators, and you know, we're everybody's best friend now. So I would wholeheartedly say, you know, absolutely try it.
And to add a bit more, we can't provide you a distribution center. We can't give you all of those materials. We can't get you racking, et cetera. Kathy commented on how she's got local business partners to assist with that component. But once you've got a space, that's when we can come in to put our books there and work with you in distributing them back out. I do have some more developed one-pagers that give the perspective as why this works, that you could sell administration on, because sometimes they need to be sold on these ideas. So again, if you reach out to me, I'm happy to share that information as well.
Okay, well, thank both of you for your information and presentations. I was just recently at a conference in Dallas, Texas at the National Career Pathways Conference, and this whole issue of providing warehousing experience for the students and First Book came up. It was very positively presented there also. Okay, I'd like to move forward to Janine Galina, and Janine is going to be talking about the Astro Tracks program, and I hope she mentions the rides portion also. we've had Janine muted, so she is going to have to unmute herself to be able to talk. She may be talking, we just can't hear her.
Sorry. I thought I hit the unmute button, so I apologize to everyone. This is, I'm going to talk about the Tracks and Rides program. They're actually programs that are sponsored by AASHTO, which is the American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials. And every state Department of Transportation is a member of AASHTO. And our partnership with the Tracks and the Rides program combine a partnership between the New York State Department of Transportation, AASHTO, my center, which is Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES, and I work at the Career and Technical Center at the facility, as well as the Rochester City School District. The Rochester City School District uses the RIDES program, and that's an elementary school program. The TRACS program is geared for grades 7 through 12, and the RIDES program is grades pre-K through 6. The map that's on your screen right now shows all the states that utilized either the TRACS or the RIDES program in some capability. The blue states are states that right now are in the process of adopting the program. We implemented the TRACS program here at our Career and Tech Center several years ago, at the same time that Rochester City School District implemented the RIDES program. We used the program here internally for our 9th, 10th grade academy. Our 9th and 10th grade academy is a half-day school program that is available for students from our component districts, which are districts that are feeder districts. We service 13 high schools. And the students come to us for half a day. They get integrated math, integrated English, as well as 2 components of a career and technical education piece. And that career and technical education piece for one of them is the TRACS program. We also utilize the TRACS program in our component districts. So we have what's called a STEM coach, and she will take some of the modules out to the districts to be utilized in their math or science programs. There are 10 modules altogether that is available through the TRACS program. We utilize 4 of them: the Bridge Builder, Maglev, Environmental, SimCity, and Design and Construction. The reason that we picked those was we thought that they were more appropriate for our student population and with the integrated academics that we utilize. The Bridge Builder, you'll see pictures later on. They do everything from having to design their bridge, build a practice bridge, break it, build another one, break it, until they truly can build to spec. Maglev is a lot of physics. It is a magnetic track, and they have to build cars out of styrofoam with magnets, and they have to be able to get the car to proceed through the track at the quickest speed. The environmental is, because of where we live in upstate Western New York, we have a lot of soil contamination because we were previously a very large manufacturing area. Eastman Kodak, Xerox, Bausch & Lomb were all originated here, and it was before EPA, so we have some environmental issues here locally. So they do environmental samplings, ground and water sample, and they learn how to test that out and to meet EPA specs. SimCity, I think we all know what that all is. And Design and Construction is some city planning pieces. Once you purchase the kits, or there's things that come along with it. You get professional development. People from AASHTO, from actually Mississippi, they came here to Rochester to do professional development. It's 3 days of professional development to teach you how to use the kits and how to implement them. You get the TRACS kit, all the kits. It comes with all the components as well as some consumables. All you have to replace every year are the consumable products. You get Bentley software, which is actually a civil engineering software component that civil engineering and departments of transportation across the country use. And our partnership with DOT allows us to do field trips to various sites. When we're doing bridge, we go out to various bridges. The engineers who work on those bridges meet with us there. When we do environmental, we just had to rework some water rights here locally, and the kids got out were able to go and see that, as well as guest speakers. Whenever we're covering a piece, somebody from DOT will come in to talk about that. The same is true for the RIDES program. The city school district, because it is elementary, they do a lot more guest speakers with their hands-on activities. Their components are extremely children-friendly and very easy for them to understand. A lot of times with the RIDES, and even with the TRACS program, the students don't realize they're learning, or they'll, I know for us, for our TRACS program, they'll be like, this makes sense. I now understand why I have to know this. All of the kits come with lesson plans. They're all aligned with Common Core. The next generation science standards are incorporated in that, but as we all know, they keep changing. The New York State Learning Standards are in alignment. When we jumped on board, AASHTO very kindly made sure they were in alignment with the New York State Learning Standards. It is truly a team taught concept. Our English teacher, our math teacher, and our CTE teacher all teach everything collaboratively together, and everything is truly problem-based and project-based learning. Here is some of our students working on the bridge. You'll see that they have some balsa wood at various levels and wood at various levels. This is one of the designs that actually they were given by Department of Transportation, and they had to figure out angles and stress levels and the suspender cables, how long they needed to be based on the length of the bridge. So it was a lot of that true Common Core math that we all deal with every day, and it allowed them to see it. Same with, and this kind of helped them, this was a cartoon they used to help them understand compression and force. This was one of the base is for the bridge, the center base for one of the bridges that the students had to build 1 year. See them all working on it. They all have to work together as a team. Everybody, they come up with a team plan. Everybody has their piece to work on, and they have to do it. That is one of the bridges that and the bridge had to be able to rise and lower within a certain time frame without any stress, and had to be able to be, the lift had to be able to be housed flat up against the structure. And that's just more pictures. One of the benefits of the bridge building competition is that if the students complete the, at the end of the bridge building component, they actually have to put together a portfolio, which is pictures and in-depth description of everything they've done for every step of the bridge. They submit it to a panel through AASHTO. If it meets the rubric and they score high enough on the rubric, they get the opportunity to attend nationals. At nationals, they have to present their bridge and present their portfolio, as well as do a 7-minute PowerPoint, and they have to break their bridge. At that point, they have to decide whether or not the bridge meets the specs for that. The benefit of that is our 910 program is really for students who are at risk of failing, who come to us for credit recovery, but they're also deemed a high-risk population. And 2 years ago, our students qualified to go to the national competition in Louisville. Our students, the students that participated, had never been outside of Western New York. None of them had ever been on an airplane. Only one of them had ever stayed at a hotel, and none of them had ever eaten in a restaurant that had linens on the table and real silverware. Being part of TRACS gave the students that opportunity, gave them the opportunity to experience something they would have never, ever experienced. It also teaches them a whole lot of self-confidence, because before that we submit their portfolios for the national competition, they present their bridges and their portfolios to our Board of Education. So it requires a student population that has always been told you can't, you won't, you never will, to be able to stand up and say, I did, I conquered, and look what, I'm going to Louisville, because that's where it was the year that we did it. There's my contact information. If you have any questions, you want to know how you can kind of jump on the TRACS and RIDES bandwagons, please feel free to give me a call or email me, and I'd be more than willing to give you information, put you in touch with our teachers who teach it. And thank you all. I hope this was informative.
Janine, thank you. We do have a question. How they want to know, how did you learn about the Track and Rides program, and how could they in a different state get involved?
The way I was able to do it is I sit on a committee with several members of the New York State Department of Transportation for something totally different. And when New York State was trying to get it adopted, they couldn't find a traditional school district that was willing to do it. So I always am the person who raises their hand and said, yes, we can, and then I try to figure out how it happened. So that's how they did it. All you would need to do is contact your local Department of Transportation, State Department of Transportation office, and explain to them that you heard about the Tracks and Rides program that's available through AASHTO. And they can contact, they know how to contact AASHTO, but the woman at AASHTO who runs this is Linda Clifton. And if you want to email me, I can get you all of Linda's information. And she actually will help you walk through the process with your state because she knows what each state's policy is and how they go through that. And if your state is one of the states that was already colored in on the map, she already will know what the process is in your state.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Janine.
Thank you.
And before we move on to, oh, they took it off the screen, our final panelists, it looks like everyone has already responded. We asked, oh, interesting. Okay, we did a quick poll to find out what your experience level was in the audience. And it's interesting that 82% said no experience, 6% 1 to 3 years experience, 4 to 10, 0, and over 10 years were 12%. So we appreciate you taking that brief survey for us. At this point, we'd like to go to our final pair of presenters. Shirley McCall, who is the director of the Trans-STEM Academy at Francis Cardoza High School in Washington, D.C. Shirley.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank today's sponsors for this opportunity to share an exciting and innovative program that we have at Cardozo Education Campus in Washington, D.C., the Transportation STEM Academy. Trans-STEM Academy was established in 1991 as the first transportation studies program in the Washington metropolitan area. It was originally known as Trans-Tech. It was rebranded as Trans-STEM in 2012 to reflect our strong emphasis on STEM. In 2016, we will celebrate our 25th anniversary. We have graduated more than 750 students, with 85% who go on to college. Trans-STEM features specialized career pathways, mentorship, internships, skill experiences, and projects that relate to transportation. Change slides. Currently, we have an enrollment of 115 students in grades 9 through 12, which reflects a diverse population of African American, Hispanic, and other students. Slide. Slide. We are very proud of our gender numbers, which reflect as many female as male students in the academy. Trans-STEM offers 4 career pathways. In aviation and aeronautics, students engage in actual flight training in our new FlexAce lab, which was established through a partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense in August 2015. It is one of 18 labs in the world. It features flight simulators and a miniature air traffic control tower. FlexAce is a pilot effort in the District of Columbia. This pilot is intended to provide test and evaluation-based immersive STEM education environment. I don't think we're going to be able to show this clip, but there was a recent clip on WUSA Channel 9, which is a CBS affiliate. but this is the link that you can go to. We also feature a pathway in electromechanical technology training. The EMTTP program enables students to demonstrate key competencies in both the electrical electronic field of study and career readiness practices. In 2014, the course of study for our EMTTP program was approved by the International Society of Certified Electronics Technicians, ISET, a first for a high school in the Washington metropolitan area. Students acquire the necessary skills and knowledge in one of more categories: direct current, alternating current, semiconductors, and digital electronics, in order to gain a post-secondary certification as an electronic system associate, level 1 through 4. Engineering is our most highly enrolled pathway. We are a Project Lead the Way school. Project Lead the Way is the nation's leading provider of STEM programs. It features a world-class curriculum, high-quality teacher professional development, and outstanding partnerships. Since 2006, we have seen a 30% increase in the number of students who go on to major in engineering, computer science, and other STEM disciplines. Students begin with 2 foundation courses: Introduction to Engineering Design and Principles of Engineering, followed by 1 or more specialization courses in civil engineering and architecture, digital electronics, aerospace engineering, or computer science and software engineering. Our most recent career pathway is computer science. This pathway consists of 3 courses: Exploring Computer Science, Honors Project Lead the Way Computer Science and Software Engineering, and AP Computer Science B. Students code, build mobile apps, develop games, enter local and national competition. In 2014, one of our teams won the Verizon App Challenge Best in the State. TransSTEM also features a robust internship program, which includes in-house internships for 11th and 12th graders enrolled in our EMTTP program. A summary of our most recent internships and summer opportunities for our students include Microsoft, World Bank, Accenture, and Lockheed Martin. Students have also had summer opportunities at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and the Experiential Aviation Association Summer Aviation Camp in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. They've also had an opportunity to study at Duke, Smith, and George Washington universities. We have a mentorship program that is sponsored by the federally employed women of the U.S. Department of Transportation. You will hear more about this program in just a few minutes from our industry partner, Carol Duke. The program provides workshops on personal mission statements, speed, mentoring, finance, interviewing strategies, and dressing for success. Here's a list of our partners and supporters, which consists of both public and private sector agencies and companies. We have had the support of the U.S. Department of Transportation since our inception in 1991. This photo is from a visit to Cardozo by the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Anthony Fox. Also, the Honorable Arne Duncan, Secretary of the U.S. Department of Education, visited our computer science class in which the students demonstrated their Verizon Best in the State award-winning app. And then on October 20th, 2015, the Undersecretary of Defense, the Honorable Frank Kendall, was a part of our ribbon-cutting ceremony for our FlexAce lab. Our entrance requirements for our out-of-boundary students are entering 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, a 2.0 or better GPA, participation in extracurricular activities, application and recommendations, copies of transcript and current report card with counselor certification, and an interview upon request. For currently enrolled students, we have an open admissions policy. Students need only meet the prerequisite course requirements for pathways in engineering, electromechanical technology training, or computer science. For more information, you may contact me, Shirley McCall. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. And now we're going to hear from Shirley's partner, Nell Dew, who is a big supporter of the program. You can hear more about how they support Shirley's program at Cardozo. So, Nell, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. As stated, we are a big supporter of TransSTEM Academy in Washington, D.C., we being Mentor STEM, founded under the Federal Aviation Administration, supported with the Federal Employed Women on the Move chapter of Washington, D.C. Our signature program on the few is called Mentor STEM. Next, please. We began Mentor STEM in support of the Executive Order 13506 that was signed in March of 2009 by President Barack Obama. That order, basically, it was a council that he directed all departments in the government to look at their policies and procedures on how they affect women and girls, basically to support women developing young girls into careers that are not traditionally held and mostly held by their male counterparts in the STEM concentrations. Next. The White House was looking at a new term that is out now. It's called Bringing Marginalized Girls into Focus into STEM Careers. Valerie Jarrett is the senior advisor to the president, and the three components that we're looking at to expose young girls into STEM careers is exposure, opportunity, and encouragement. Next. There was also, we had to take a study at how we can bring about women in the workplace, increasing their visibility in their positions in STEM careers. What we're losing the middle class of jobs, and we're looking at how the 21st century can look different in the workplace. We learned that 60% of the workplace is comprised of working parents, but there seems to be an imbalance of equal pay for women as opposed to their male counterparts. And there was also a great need to have child care in the workplace, and also to increase the minimum wage for us to have a more well-balanced workplace. Next. There was some discussion or some findings on the position of women in the STEM careers as we speak now. Although there are more women that are graduating from college as compared to their male counterparts, they are underrepresented in STEM careers in the workplace. And most of them that are in STEM careers only remain an average of 3 years. The reason for that was that there were not many positions available for women in the workplace, and the women are normally the ones who started the family or the caregivers, and which caused them to leave those positions earlier than planned. Federal Employed Women is an organization, it's a membership organization that supports and promotes careers of women in technical positions, especially in the transportation services. I am part of Women of the Move chapter. We have several signature programs to support the next generation to continue to feed the pipeline of women in STEM careers, we developed the Mentor STEM program. Next. In 2010, we developed that program. I was one of the co-founders along with Felicia Boyd, who was a past president. I myself was a past vice president of Women on the Move chapter. The three components of Mentor STEM is project-based learning, group mentoring, and professional development, and continue to fill that pipeline of careers and transportation services. Next. The types of mentoring, of course, is career, information, friend, and intellectual. We at Mentor STEM both mostly focus on the career guide, mentoring, and information source mentoring. Next. We have several workshops and tours that we offer to schools within the DCPS, it's the District of Columbia Public School System, and we will also support schools systems outside of the District of Columbia metro area based on budgeting and what's available with our staffing. For the next few slides, you will see some of our key workshop and tours that we do offer. Speed mentoring, as Ms. McCall had mentioned earlier, is one of our most popular workshops that is requested for us to present. The students are allowed to get actually first-hand information from different levels of managers and support staff within the aviation and transportation communities to give them guidance on what tips, if you will, on what actually helped them to be in the positions they are holding currently, and give them an opportunity to ask just any questions they would have to tailor-made their path to their career or their educational development. One of our main tours that we offer is the Air Traffic Control System. It's the command center, the FAA Command Center in the Potomac TRACON. It's located in Warrenton, Virginia. Basically because it is the, they monitor and they direct air traffic control and patterns throughout the nation, and the students can actually be part of simulated training. They can go to the training lab and actually be a part of on their computer displays to look and actually manage, if you will, testing of air traffic patterns. That is actually what our current air traffic controllers actually go through for their training. So they go through those scenarios just to get a feel of how to conduct air traffic management. Next. We have Mathitude. It's one of our workshops. Some schools, particularly when they start doing some of their annual testing, if they have a need to increase their math aptitude testing, we do have a workshop. We partner with some of our business partners that deal in our accounting firms in the local area, and they will come in and present a workshop and help the students be more relaxed in understanding their different math challenges. Next. Dress for Success. Again, one of our another one of our more popular workshops. Of course, we look at imaging and branding and of being in a professional work environment. Dress for Success, we actually have the students come in and they actually get to touch and feel. We actually present different scenarios to them on the workplace and have them select what they think would best fit that scenario. At the end, they come up with, they actually have the answers, but then when they put the wardrobes together, they understand the concept of imaging and branding and presenting itself in the most professional way. And actually at Cardozo, we do have a Dress for Success closet where our partners donate professional clothing to the students for them to have and use as they need it. We do have an annual wardrobe scholarship or award, if you will, and in this picture you see students of this past school year that were recipients of the wardrobe for the professional wardrobe workshop. Next. This is slide depicts our school year for calendar for Trans STEM Academy. We start really in October, but in October, like Ms. McCall stated, we had the Flex Ace Lab ribbon cutting ceremony, but from November all the way to the end of May at graduation, it depicts each month what we would be covering with TransSTEM. So we will partner with each school, and based on that school's recommendation on where your needs are to support you, we would develop or bring some of our already signature workshops and tours to you to develop a calendar for your school year. Next. Few Women on the Move do have a $500 scholarship award that we give to a college-bound STEM-focused student each year. And that scholarship is presented to the student before their graduation of their graduating year to a senior. Next. And we always believe that if you want it, you just need to reach for it. That concludes the Mentor STEM. If anybody has any questions, they can contact me. My information is on the next slide. Next, please. Next slide. I'm at carnelldew@fa.gov.
Thank you so much, Nell. Unfortunately, we wish we had you everywhere across the country. But although that can't be possible, I think that probably there are other organizations within many communities that might be able to provide a similar service to the students in those communities. We do have a question. A question is about the SPEED mentoring sessions. The question is, how often do you offer the SPEED mentoring sessions, and how many students have you been able to reach through those sessions?
We offer the SPEED mentoring locally for one school per school, one time per year. So if I had several schools in the local area that needed SPEED mentoring, I would adjust the calendar and make that happen. If someone was outside of this local area, then we would see what their needs are, and we can bring it to them as well, depending on the budget and funding that's available. As far as how many students in a session, it depends on the space that's available, and the students is qualified through their own school mentoring STEM program, and then meets all the requirements to be part of our Mentor STEM program.
Okay, great. Thank you. We do have one other question for the Cardozo folks. They want to know how you got the support of your administration to start this transportation program, and then how did you recruit your first class of students?
Okay, and let me say this too, because having administrative support is crucial to having a successful program. And I've had the pleasure of being in this position for the 25 years that we have been in existence, and I've seen 7 different principals. And each principal has actually bought into what we were doing and have contributed to growing the program. So I just wanted to make that clear. In terms of our initial startup, we started in 1991 with a group of 30 10th grade students. And we've averaged, after the 3-year full implementation, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, we graduated our first class in 1994, and our enrollment has fluctuated between 80 and 125 students. Currently, we have 115 students. So right now, I'm excited about what's happening here at Cardozo and at the TransSTEM Academy. We have a fully staffed program, and that is a rarity. For a school to allot the number of CTE positions that we needed in order to fully implement the program was exceptional. We have 3 full-time instructors, so we're able to cover all of the pathways that we offer: computer science, electromechanical technology training, the engineering piece, as well as the aviation and aeronautics.
Okay, thank you so much. While we're waiting to see if anyone has any additional questions, I would just like to let everyone know that there are additional resources available. The transportationcareers.org website has over 500 lesson plans that cover all of the 7 pathways in transportation, distribution, and logistics. And all of those materials are free for schools to use, to download and use in their classrooms. I don't see any additional questions popping up right now. So with that, I would like to thank all of our attendees for joining us today, and we do welcome your feedback. We are planning a similar web conference featuring our Southwest states on January 20th, and we will be sending you information that describes the programs for that event. I'd like to thank our panelists for taking time to be with us today. And with that, we conclude our web conference, and we would like you to please fill out the survey before you leave the webinar. Thank you.